Yo, what is up, y'all? It's been a minute and a lot has definitely changed, but let's get right into it. So, a few years back, my house was actually broken into and burglarized. At the time, I came home, my dog was shaking, scared, Rizzo, and I was wondering what actually was going on because I was so confused at what had happened. I continue into the house and I see that all my cabinets had been opened up and strewn through. And at this moment, my stomach completely dropped. I didn't know how to process all these emotions, and right away, my mind went to the money I had been saving up, all the tips that I had been earning by giving the best top tier quality service at the car wash I had been working at. It came into question that if they were still there. And truth be told, much to my surprise, they were gone. Someone had broken in, or multiple people, and stolen everything. And I didn't know how to process all of these emotions. I didn't know what to think or how to react or respond. I called the cops, and well, didn't lead to much. Let's just say that. And eventually, I thought to myself a little bit later, like, what do I do? And it was at this moment when I really was trying to figure out how to proceed in my life because I was so devastated by all of my hard work just disappearing in a second. And at this time, I was thinking, okay, what can I do in this moment? What is the best possible move? And I decided to take it as a learning lesson. And I took many lessons from this experience. First of all, I want to say that whoever did this, you know, I can't judge them and I can't put any foul wishes onto them because, well, while I would think that would be a good thing to do, it's not going to help me and it's not going to help them or anyone. Really, the fact is, they had no respect and no morals or no sense of empathy or compassion toward me or anything that I had done. So it's obvious that nothing I could do is going to change that fact. And apart from that, I wanted to take it as energy. I wanted to take this experience and use it as as a form of fuel, a source of nuclear fusion where I take all of this emotion and turmoil and use it to go and succeed astronomically and make this experience a minor inconvenience. That was my true goal. And apart from this, I learned to be more financially aware and wise, as well as being more situationally and socially aware with who I'm around and my social circle in general, how important it is to associate with the right people. But considering all these lessons and um, all these positive takeaways that I really wanted to get from this, I made one huge mistake. And that huge mistake is the reason that I'm making this video. Because I want to help people avoid making the same mistake and remind myself as well that this is a mistake that you must correct. And that mistake is using your most valuable, precious, important resource, the resource that you'll never get back and never can recreate or get more of, other than using leverage or other things that we can get into in future videos. Your time and my time. Time is the thing that is non renewable. It's the only thing that we have that is in finite, limited quantities that you can never make more of. You only have so much time every day, and I think we take it for granted because it's the one thing we get for free, and it's the thing that we devalue the most oftentimes with the way that we live our lives. So, saying that, how did I make this huge mistake? I did not learn fast enough. You might notice the title of the video is The Vital Importance of Increasing Your Learning Speed. And that right there is the reason that right there is why exactly you have to focus on increasing your learning speed, to use your time more efficiently. So you might be thinking learning speed a little bit differently or conceptualizing it in a slightly different way. The learning speed that I'm referring to is actually Alex Hormozy's definition of learning, which is when you have a stimulus and a person's response to that stimulus and how fast they change their behavior based on that stimuli. And the quicker they change their behavior, the faster that they learn, or that they have learned. Because until you actually change your behavior, you have not really learned. And that relates to my story, because even after these so-called devastating things, and after experiencing difficulties throughout life, you would think that I would learn quicker, that I would take action sooner in a business endeavor that I was envisioning, and a different path in life that I had in my head, but I was not actually enacting in reality. I was only consuming and learning and making strides in different areas, but not actually taking real world action and real risks to benefit and to actually, grow as a person. You can still learn, but until you actually apply what you're learning, it's all not going to get you very far until you actually use it somewhere. That's when you consolidate the knowledge and you contextualize it based on how that, like, how the world reacts, like how the feedback you get. That's going to be the moment in which you, sorry, I don't want to lose this recording. It's going to be the moment when you start to see exactly why it's so important, why it is that you have to change your learning speed and increase it so fast, or so much, as much as you possibly can. Because there will come a day when you look back and say, wow, this is if you haven't been using time wisely, that is. And everyone can use time more wisely. It's a whole broad spectrum, but most people are going to say that, or at least if you're aware, there's a whole spectrum of awareness. But most people will likely look back and wonder where all the time went. And life is continually moving forward. And one day you'll look back and realize that you had so much time and you didn't use it purposefully. You hadn't used it in a way that's focused and directionally moving you forward in your vision or your self-actualization and who you want to become. Whether that be healthy spirits, healthy body, or a healthy mind, and etc., finances. All of these areas are only going to be affected when you take actions, and focused actions consistently. That is going to be when you finally start to make real progress toward these things. And even I understood that conceptually. It's obvious when you say it, but still, day to day, day in, day out, I would not live congruent with those beliefs. I would live in a way that I would distract myself or, pretend like I'm making progress, which maybe I made some real progress, but overall through the years, it could have been a lot more. And that's just me being honest. Just saying the facts of the matter of how much I could have done that I failed to do because I didn't learn fast enough. And you might ask, why did I not learn fast enough? Well, there's many hypotheses on why that is. And one of them could be I didn't experience enough pain. I wasn't uncomfortable enough. I didn't have enough driving me away or toward that goal. And at the end of the day, I just didn't make the choice to do it. I had other priorities that I made at the top of the list, and that's what I did. And that is the lesson. If you're okay with those other things being what you're focused on and what your time gets spent on, then, respect to that. And it's just going to be everyone's decision on how they spend their time. And again, all these things seem kind of obvious when you say it, but the way that many people live, and myself included, it doesn't pan out exactly as you'd expect. We don't always live up to our dreams and our idealistic vision of who we will be. And you look back and wonder, thinking back, why is it that I'm not in the greatest shape I thought I would be? Or how am I not successful in my business when I haven't even started? Or why am I have no strong, healthy relationships in my life? Etc., etc. You can keep going down the list. And it's because all of these things take time and dedication. They all have a threshold of effort that needed to be applied to them in order to improve. So that is the lesson of this whole video. And one thing I really related it to was a message my mom always received from my grandmother that she would tell her, hija, or daughter, angels cry, ángeles lloran when you waste time, cuando gastas el tiempo. When you don't use your time wisely, angels cry. And this is true. Whether you believe in a higher power or not, your time on this planet, your time alive, is everything. And that's so undervalued by many people. And if you're not focusing on your most important things that you want to accomplish, it's never going to happen. And until you make that choice, that you actually decide day in and day out that you're going to focus on those top priorities, or priority as was the original definition, until you focus on that priority and make that choice, it's always going to sit on the back burner and you're never going to actually make progress toward it. So that is kind of how I got to this point, or I realized someone is not going to do this for me. I can't rely on anyone else to build my business or to do the training or, eat the right foods, etc., or build those strong relationships. I have to put in the effort, and it has to be me compounding these things every single day. And this is what led me to finally understanding the importance of a routine. And I started to build a routine and use that routine daily and focus on it every single day and make it a priority to get certain things done and not do the other things. The other things that are distracting, that started to become less of a priority and it no longer became the top of the list. And by no means am I perfect at this, and I'm still on the journey to get there, which I would encourage you to follow along and definitely join on this journey. And also share your experiences as well, because all of us have these tough, difficult moments And sometimes it feels like we're completely alone and that no one can relate to what we are going through. But the reality is, many of us have gone through similar tough challenges. We've gone through things that, you know, it made us who we are. And depending on how we responded to it and how we took that lesson from it and the actions we took based on that response and that lesson, that is what defined us. And that's what's going to continue to define us as time continues onward. So, share those experiences. Give us a chance to see that it's not just us that's struggling with, different random things that you could never predict. And that has another thing to do with this message is, if you never plan or never create a routine, you can still succeed. It is possible. It's just going to be so difficult to do because you're competing with entropy. You're competing with the universe and its randomness, the inherent randomness of everything that happens. You could not predict how tomorrow is going to go if you wanted to. So you have to take time today or before tomorrow comes to plan the things that you want to accomplish, to plan exactly what your priority is, and that you know exactly when and what you're going to do. And that is going to be how you can compete, or have at least a chance of competing with the randomness, the entropy of, the world. So that is what I've slowly been learning, and I'm still understanding it more on a deeper level, but it's becoming more and more apparent that living in this systematic way is a far higher chance of you succeeding. So, yeah, that's the message. Sadly, or maybe not so sadly, time travel is still in the realm of ideas. We've not yet created a working time machine, and looking at the world as it is and looking back on your life, maybe there's a few things you would like to change. And the reality is, as of now, we can't go back and change those things. It's not possible for us to rewind the clock or to travel back and fix the things we wish we could have or want to today. It's just sadly not going to happen. But what we can do, what we really would be wise to do, is to use all of those things you would love to fix and take the lesson from it. Understand exactly how you messed up. Open the cupboards of all of the mistakes that you've made and the actions you failed to take and the things that you did that you wish you didn't do. Every single thing. Go through and audit all of it and spend time to understand how you got to that point and why it is that you made those choices. Because everyone has those things in their past and that they continue to fall into, because that's just the human experience. But yeah, overall, no one's going to live a perfect life. Everyone has struggles. Everyone makes mistakes. And that right there is the truth. But the fact is, we can learn from it. We can learn from our own mistakes, and we can learn from the mistakes of others, and from books, and understanding from experience as well. So that's what we have to do. We have to take action and increase our learning speed and make it so that the response and the change in behavior is now so short that it doesn't even register. That as soon as you have those tough events, you instantly convert it to fuel, and you put that fuel in your engine or in your gas tank. You turn on the ignition and you get that engine going, get into gear and go. That there's no time to wait and no time to dwell, and just let that energy dwindle away so that it's no longer potent. That energy is there, so use it. Don't just let it sit there and not get used, because it's going to slowly dwindle as time moves on. And that is the energy that's going to get you to that next goal, to that next milestone, and to create the person that you want to become, the person that you know you could be if you just dedicated yourself day in and day out, changing those neural pathways, making a new identity, and becoming the greatest version that you could ever imagine. Finally, we will be self-actualized by living up to our ideals and not using time unwisely. So that's the message for today. Definitely appreciate any feedback, any experiences you guys have that relate to this. And well, it's been a while since I posted a video. You know, back then it was mostly Andrew Yang and a lot of different stuff, but I might be taking a slightly new direction moving forward. And I could even talk about those experiences with the Yang Gang and all that. And just in general, like AI and artificial intelligence, how it's going to affect things. But there's a whole bunch we can get into the future. But for now, that's the message. Use time wisely, increase your learning speed, and you'll look back with gratitude. So, thanks for watching, y'all. I appreciate you. Peace. Let's do this.